Today's episode is a really fascinating one, and I think it's going to stretch your perspective in the best possible way. I'm joined by Masati, a system architect, the creator of HyperMeditations, and the founder of XIMS. His work sits at the intersection of advanced neuroscience, human potential, and spirituality. And it's all about helping people reprogram their internal blueprint for faster and more tangible results in their lives. What makes his story even more powerful is that it's been shaped by 3 near-death experiences, which completely transformed the way he understands consciousness, health, and human evolution. In this conversation, we talk about the XI code, the exponential intelligence code, how to unlock more of your multidimensional potential, and how to break free from generational patterns that might be keeping you stuck, whether that's in your mindset, your well-being, or even your relationship with money. It's deep, it's thought-provoking, and it's incredibly eye-opening. Thank you for being here for the Can I Get a Refill podcast. I'm your host, Steph Bruno-Newton. Be sure to jump on the website, www.canigetarefillpodcast.com.au, linked below to download your free 33-page ebook on 7 steps to protect your energy and fill up your cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup, so I've designed a guide to help you give back to yourself in order to up-level your life. Download it today to make yourself a priority. Okay, now let's jump in. Hello, my cup fillers, and welcome back to the Can I Get a Refill podcast. As just promised, we're very blessed to be joined by special guest today, Masati. Masati, welcome to the podcast.
Stephanie, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so delighted. I was just saying off air, this is a topic that I'm so interested in, and I haven't had a guest like you at all before, so it's very unique and really exciting. And I thank you for joining us from Minneapolis. It's 6 p.m. where you are, 9 a.m. for me, so I really appreciate you being flexible and joining me from there. I think we're gonna jump into it because you've had such an interesting life. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've had 2 near-death experiences. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've actually had 3, but yeah.
Just not to be an overachiever about near-death experiences or anything. Wow, this is fascinating. So I have a question relating to that further in the chat, but let's just start to sort of warm everybody up to it. Could you please tell us a little bit about the type of work that you do and the journey that led you here?
Absolutely. Right now, I've been doing this for about 14 years, probably about 100,000 client sessions that I've had over the 14 years, which is a lot because my work goes into frequencies, editing you at a frequency level. So what could take like decades, we could literally squish down into like a 15-minute, half-hour session. So that's why I can do so many sessions in a very short period of time. And again, you get really intense results. So what I do is literally look at not your mindset, not your emotions, not your behaviors, because that's like downriver. What I do is like, let's look at, say, what's operating you, the operating system that is creating you, your genetic patterns, your generational patterns, societal patterns that you run, and then lifetime patterns that you're running. So those 4 ingredients nobody really looks at. So we look into say the core structure of who you are. People just go, well, this is just the way I am. What XI does, exponential intelligence, basically goes, well, that's basically you're just the next version of your mom and the other 3 ingredients that I talked about. So it's like, let's take a look at that and see what you really want to keep and what you don't want to keep.
That sounds like it's a lot more in depth. So if someone walked into a therapist's office and said, this is my life situation over the last few years, this is what's happened to me, they might not know that they might have generational trauma that has passed through their mother into them that they have no idea about, yet there's some sort of stored trauma in their body. That's correct, right?
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
So yeah, that's fascinating. So all these people might be walking around and thinking, well, I've treated the issue and nothing's getting there. So how do you treat that? So how do you get to all those different areas?
So what I do from the near-death experiences, and I use near-death experiences as an accelerant of, say, as an accelerant of our potential. And we all have the potential that I have, and that's what I teach. So basically, I can look at anybody, Stephanie, and literally see the coding, just like AI does. I'm not a psychic, but I see the coding or the algorithm of how you're running your life. And once you see the algorithm, just like AI is highly intelligent. It doesn't understand the words that it's using, but it sees, like if you put in a paragraph, that you wrote and go, hey, read me, AI would be very accurate on like sensing you, right? Again, it's not psychic or anything like that. It just sees algorithms. So I see your algorithms without having you to tell me anything about you.
Wow, that's so fascinating. And I read once that the Instagram or social media algorithm is actually based on the algorithms of the human mind or
Mhm.
subconscious.
Yeah,
That makes
we
sense. Like we have
it
a
does.
thought pattern.
Yes, you have a pattern. There's usually one, say, algorithm that dictates your entire life. So you change that one algorithm, or you go upriver high enough to change that one algorithm, and just like a tree branch, like a root, you change that one frequency of yours, and it permeates through all aspects of your life. Most people try to change a little bit of here, or they sacrifice for their success, but they destroy the other aspects of their relationships. They
Yes,
destroy their health, and that's where I think a lot of women, it's like, well, I have to sacrifice for my
burnout.
kids, and now my husband, and now I got to be a career woman. Those are three fragments of the same person. And that's where your life starts to separate like this. What I'm saying is like, wait, let's build a better human. Let's optimize, let's get rid of the drag back here. And then you can be a mother, and being a mother is really great. It gives you great talent, great abilities to run a successful business. You don't have to mother the business, which a lot of women do, but you can be that nurturing, say, dominant, say, mother that goes, hey, we're going this way, and proper discipline, proper love, and you can put that into your business, which you can put into being a spouse or being a friend, and all that. They're not separate pieces, and I think that's where people get
Love.
so confused.
I love that you've said that, and how I think years ago, or recently, for so long, women tried to be a man in a man's world. Put the
Oh
hair
my
in the
god.
bun and the dark colored clothing and erase all femininity to be in a business world. And all of a sudden, the divine feminine is really getting some traction. And we're finding that if we're tapping into our most authentic selves, we're able to be more successful and carry that over. And I'm 42. I'm 43 this year. I only just had my first child at 41 because I thought that my career would be greatly impacted by being a mother. And what I realized as soon as he came into my life was and my husband kept saying, I think you'll find it will enhance your career. And it
Yeah,
did. I sort of
it
tapped
does.
in to something. But I also like what you said there because my husband, when I met him, was a PT, and we were all in these boot camp classes. And an older woman came to me and said, you know what I really like about him? He will see us all as individuals and not put us on the same exercise or the same level. He'll see that you're younger and fitter, you should do it this way. So it's not
Mhm.
a one size fits all. And it sounds by the way you've verbalized that is that you're seeing, the difference between the masculine and the feminine or the male and the female. And you can operate with the same level of success, but with perhaps a different operating system. Would you think that's accurate?
Yes. So, a couple things. You're right. When people or when women started getting into the business world, they basically copied because it's a man's
Yes.
world. So, and then they copied the man's world, and it's not just like clothing, but identity. And even this is where, so many women that I work with, ultra high net worth individuals, they run billion-dollar companies, and it's like, Masadi, I don't feel like a woman anymore. That success doesn't gratify me anymore because I've lost who I am. I've lost the femininity that I wanted. Sex, intimacy, all that is like I feel more like a man than, my partner does, right? So that's the problem. Even testosterone levels, if you look at women nowadays, their testosterone level is higher because they're more masculine. You look at any executive that's out there, they look like men. No offense.
Yeah.
They're highly intelligent women, but and I'm not saying
But
they
in defense of women, it's because we're never taken seriously. So it's something as simple as even like mum guilt and women getting burnout. It's because the second they sacrifice some time as a mother to put into their career, they're criticized online. People are like, where's your child? Or a Hollywood actress will be on a red carpet and they'll ask, how are you balancing parenthood? When do you ever hear men asked that question? So we're trying to fit in, having grown up in a patriarchal society, we're trying to fit in and be everything all at once, but we can't. And I'm finding women are now tapping more into that authenticity. And as I just said off air, I'm delighted now to have my son in daycare and taking some time for me to be creative. And I'm a great mum. That's not selfish. That's
It's not.
filling up my cup before I can fill up his.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not what you're, say, achieving, it's how
Yeah.
you're achieving it. And it's like
Yes.
men as well. If you're sacrificing yourself, if you're changing your identity to create success so you can find your identity, I mean, for me, that's a circular logic system and it just doesn't make sense. I work on straight
Yes.
up physics of natural intelligence. So what I'm saying is like, hey, you can still have that career, but as you define that career or that child or anything else that a woman can do, you know, is basically is like, are you defining who you are before anybody told you who you were? So back to your original, say, pristine identity or blueprint that you were born with, that innate feeling. So that's what your career, that's what motherhood, that's what everything should always take you towards. And when you do that, and that's what we help women with, when you start doing that, you know, being a mom, enhances who you are. And it's not, most people go, well, it's the quantity of time that you spend with your kid. Obviously, if you're running a business and stuff, you're not going to spend as much time. But if you're real and if your signal is real, Stephanie, that kid looks at you and it's like, damn, mom's got it going on. It's like she knows who she is. And it builds beautiful, strong children. It's
Oh, I
not
love that. I
quantity,
love
it's
that.
quality.
It's the quality. Oh my gosh. And you know what else? They need things from other people. And I didn't want to put him in daycare. And I watch him now when I go to pick him up. I look through the glass door and all of a sudden his speech has increased, his social skills. He comes home happy. And I love, even when I'm on the playground, I don't do helicopter mum. I sit back and I watch
Yeah.
him interact with other parents.
Yeah.
I love watching my son interact with others. It makes me so proud. I've put something out in the world that's finding his own independence and his own personality. So I had this mum guilt if I have to be everything for him all the time. And if I have one day where I don't get him to the playground, I was plagued by guilt. And I said to myself yesterday as I'm manically folding all this laundry, I was like, mate, I wasn't taken to the playground every day of my childhood. I turned out successful. Like we were left to our own autonomy and no one in the 80s guilt tripped mums about that. So, oh, I love this. I love this so much. Your take on, I'm actually like asking you questions for the audience, but I'm thinking like I do with all my guests, I want to work with you now and like see how I can enhance my own career. This is great.
You can ask me anything you want to on some of the hardest
Yeah.
questions that maybe other
Yeah.
guests haven't answered or anything like that.
Love
Totally.
it. So on your website, there is exponential intelligence code. So can you talk the audience through what is exponential intelligence code and how can it unlock your multi-dimensional potential?
Yeah. So the XI code, I gained it through the three near-death experiences. And so in the story, it takes too long to say, to talk about, but I just want to highlight them. And you can always go to the xicode.com
Yeah,
to find
absolutely.
the near-death stories. But the takeaway, the first one, I crushed my jaw in a warehouse accident, and that allowed me to understand. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but that really allowed me to understand like who we are as our potential, because I escaped the physicalness of the body. It's the closest thing I could say is like when you're a kid and you know that you've got so much potential. You can fly, you can do anything out there. So
Mm.
basically, that's the potential that gets hidden away or gets robbed, unfortunately, from a lot of kids. So I knew it, I felt it without the physical form. It's kind of like being in a dream state, but much, much better because I was conscious of it. So the second, and I wanted that, say, is like, well, how do I bring that potential down to earth? And this is
Great
what like
question.
Nikola, yeah, and this is what Nikola Tesla did, and many other great, inventors, Elon Musk, all those individuals. They go into an altered state, they see those realities, and they go, well, how do I bring that down here? So on the second near-death experience, which was a drowning, is basically what I did was it's like, oh, I can see our potential here, but what are the physics so we can train people here to do it? And this is where you age younger, you're happier, you got deeper relationships, you're not destroying yourself or the world to control something to create something better. So that second near death really allowed me to understand, say, the mechanics or the physics of how this reality works or how humans work. And that's where the exponential intelligence, it literally has turned into a science. And this science literally explains why things are the way they are, what where our purpose is, how do we optimize ourselves, how do we, optimize, our reality without destroying it,
So,
which is
how
very
does
scary.
someone who hasn't had near death experiences tap into
Mhm.
that?
With my abilities that I've honed over 14 years, I put people into deep states of hyper meditations, I call them. They're not just like normal meditations. I literally guide you into a state where you can access your potential, the one that you forgot about, as a child. Access that. And when you connect that, I'm not helping you heal yourself here. I'm helping you heal yourself back where the trauma or the distortions begin. And then when you do that, it creates a domino effect all the way forward, and you find yourself different, very, very different. And from that difference, you different opportunities, different solutions show up for you.
Hmm.
It's really cool. It's not a mindset game. It literally is putting you in a different dimension of time and space. It's
Wow.
really there, but quantum physics are actually seeing, quantum scientists, physics are actually going, yeah, there are different dimensions of who you are. Well, I'm the guy that actually puts you there.
Okay. So, in the manifestation world, there's a lot of talk of shadow work. So you can say all the affirmations, do the vision board, but someone might have a blockage. Someone might have it with money. Someone might have it with romantic partners because there's some sort of subconscious belief that they either heard as a child or it could be a generational thing. Is your process akin to shadow work where you're no different?
It's close, but very
Mm,
different. Those things work. Mindset, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, all those things work. But, you have like surface layer issues that you want to solve. And
yeah.
most things, it's like you change your habits. That's surface layer. And then you go into psychology or mindset. That's second layer. We go to the core level. So, for example, shadow work is literally, say you're traumatized or you grew up in a certain way. Okay, your shadow work is filtered through the distortion that you're trying to clean up.
Yeah.
So you can't really delete that because you're using it to create yourself. And that's why shadow work and everything else takes so long. Right? The thing I can liken it to is like if you try to delete a program off your computer and the computer goes, I can't delete it because you're running it. You have to shut it down,
That's a good analogy. Yes,
right? To completely delete it. So people get
because it's
bits and
open. Yeah.
pieces of it, but the underlying core structure you can't because you're operating off it. So what we do is literally help you become a reference point. We literally move you out of the way and you become an observer of, say, the shadows inside your life. And then you go, oh, I don't need that. So you become separate from what you've created. Yeah. Because
Hmm.
have you ever, yeah, no offense, just reading you, but you're always an observer to your friends. You see what your friends don't. Get it?
Yes. And vice versa.
Yeah. So, and vice versa, but you're mostly more in tune from what I'm sensing. So you see what your friends don't. So basically, they don't, why don't they see it? But then when they break apart, like when they break away from somebody, like, they break off a relationship, and then they get to see it from a different perspective. Does that make
Yes.
sense to you? So
Is it
that's,
because you're in the eye of the storm and there's just all white noise that you're not
yes.
centered enough to remove yourself from it?
Mhm. Exactly. If
Yeah.
you're in the center of who you are, you can't really see, you can't have perspective.
Yes.
So you have to separate yourself and then you have perspective. And that's the biggest key. And I teach people, on spatial referencing. And it also helps you understand the programs that you're running, but then also how you achieve those programs. It's like people start to go, oh shit, I got this from my mom. I didn't even know about
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
that kind of pattern.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating. I have so many questions, but I don't even know how to verbalize them right now. What are some techniques for reprogramming your blueprint to drive fast real world results?
Well, I can tell you some physical things your audience and you can do. But what I
Sure.
do is literally I scan you. It takes me like seconds to just like see your underlying blueprint or your core structure.
You
So
scan or you use something to
no, I
scan?
scan
You
like
scan.
literally like I
Wow.
can see your life storyline. Like
Wow.
I saw you the instant that we connected. But what people can do to be an observer is basically spatial referencing, and it's really, really simple. And it's so simple, you might go, "Oh, that's not going to work." But people have, got off their psychotic medications, their antidepressants, and so on, just by spatial referencing. Okay,
Yes.
and this is where what you do is like you look at an object, or it's like the window is over there. The tip of my nose is over here. It sounds funny, it sounds simple, but that's basic spatial referencing. The sound is coming from over there. My body is over here. If you did that, with all your five senses, you'd be amazed at how centered you are. And this goes on beyond mindset training, slowing the mind down or quieting the mind down, because you actually become an observer of how you're rendering your body. If
Okay.
that does that make
Well,
sense?
I tell you what, it does. Give a quick scan of me. If you say anything that's too revealing that I feel naked, I'll
Nice.
delete it out. So give me a little
Uh,
scan. Anything that comes to mind. Let's hear it.
and do you mind if I just guide the audience into spatial
Oh,
record
go where you
really
need to
quick?
go.
Yeah, and then I'll just scan you really quick. So take a breath
Go.
in. Whether you're listening, obviously you're listening to this on a recording, it still all works the same. Some of you might actually feel the frequencies that I'm generating even through the recording, which is really cool. So breathe in, and then just observe. So you've got your eyes closed. So notice the sounds around you, like notice my voice and the direction it's coming from, and then your collarbone. Okay? And then notice a scent. Take an inhale through your nose. Just notice the scent around you. And notice your hair. Notice your clothes on your skin. And if your eyes were open, you could, or you could just visualize from memory, what was in front of you, what was to the side of you, and then a point. So it's always an object and then the point on your body. If you did this before you went to sleep, if you did this when you wake up, and if you did this just throughout the day, while you're driving, doing whatever it is that you're doing, just take a few seconds to do this, and it'll literally pull you into the best moment of time and the best reality. By the way, how are you feeling? Sweetie?
Good.
Feels crazy, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it reminds me of yoga nidra, where you're putting the awareness into different parts of the body. And I'm someone who gets anxiety and that busyness feeling, and I love that, putting the awareness back in. When I used to catch the train and have panic attacks, I'd always touch the chair in front of me, and I was like, oh, it was just
that's a
that
form of
spatial
spatial
awareness.
recognition. Okay.
Yep.
And then this is just the beginning form, but once you get acclimated, you can go, oh, what reality am I creating myself in? So you, Stephanie, if you don't mind me reading you, a lot of your
Please.
anxiety, a lot of your distortions come from your mom or an aunt, or maybe your mom doesn't feel like a mom to you. It feels more like an aunt to me from what I'm sensing. So that anxiety, and she's always feels like she's running away or she's hiding something, which you're always running away and trying to she's running away to not be found out or something like that. You're running away to find who you are. So even if you find who you are, even if you have kids, even if you get married, it's like, okay, this is good, but I need to go and find myself. That is the underlying pattern that you're running, and you'll never find it because your algorithm is always about running to find who you are. And that's the underlying pattern. Does that make sense to you?
We're
Very
chatting
simple.
off air. I'm working with you. This is this is fascinating. Are you
Yes.
kidding? Are you kidding? You could have said anything. Wow. Wow.
But
Yeah,
but
and
that's
it's funny what you said there, because having my son brought everything up, brought a lot of identity issues up, which I know can happen in motherhood generally, but
yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing, and I can explain that for you as well. It's like why having a kid, why having success, or why falling in love, gets into problems with people. But going back to you, did that make sense for you, hon?
Yes.
Okay. So can I
I
help
won't
you?
say too much, but
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
fully, fully.
Perfect. So can I help you disconnect from it right here, right now?
Please. Oh,
It
I feel like
literally
I'm going to
is.
cry. Please
It literally is just a program edit.
go.
Okay. And
Do
then
what you
so
need
we,
to do.
yeah, so we change your program, and this will help your audience that is always running away. So when you change your program of who you are, just note that your emotional value systems, your logic, your idea, so you will probably feel like, shit, I don't have to run anymore. And it'll feel really good because you'll actually be present. Like your husband, when he sees you, is like, oh shit, where is she off to this time? Because you're not always there. Your son, even at a younger age, it's like, where the hell is mom? She's basically seeing what I'm seeing in you because you're like, you're here physically. And it's like, yeah, I'm here, but my consciousness is way over here. And that's what your husband.
I'm a prayer. I'm a woman of faith. I'm not religious. And 2 days ago, when I was praying to God, I said, "Can you please help me be more present?"
Yeah, there you are.
I said to my husband, I said, all the problems I have, they might not be in the house, but they live here rent free because they're all up in my head. So when I spend time with my husband and son, I'm not present enough because I'm thinking about other things. And
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
you nailed me. You got me
Yeah,
good.
so when you become present, though, Stephanie,
Mm.
you don't have to always worry because no matter how much money you have, because I work with, like I said, a lot of high wealth individuals, they've got the money, they've got the resources, they've got everything, but they still feel the same way, even worse. Because success will not satisfy, it will magnify. And I just want to talk about that. But can I help you delete this for you and the audience
Please.
listening to it right now?
Yes.
It'll take about a
Mm.
minute. Is that okay for
Go.
you? Okay.
Yes.
So pay attention to your gut. Breathe in. Oh, I'm not a doctor, but you have a sensitive um God, in your stomach. The valve that closes is very sensitive. So yeah, it's very sensitive.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah. So again, I don't claim to be a doctor, but let's edit that, if you will, as well for you. Okay? Because that comes from childhood. When you're 10 years old, by the way, oh, yeah. 10 years old, you got, it's like life or, yeah, time stopped for you. Something happened, it was like, whoa, what the hell happened? And it kind of distorted you from what I'm sensing. That was a mini near death for you. So let's bring that back. Breathe in. And for your audience, uh, just like Steph, close your eyes, take a breath in, and notice whatever that you're running away from or running to solve your problems. Okay? That's the problem. You have a pattern. Your identity is based on running away or running to things. So the deal is that you can never fix a problem. Breathe. Look at all the things that you've accumulated, and it enhances the problem. And then some people from the audience that I'm gathering, it's like they have everything. It's like, why do I keep running away? It's because of the underlying pattern. Breathe again, huh? Just notice your gut. And no offense, Stephanie, but your body still thinks it's a little pregnant. It
Well,
hasn't closed the system off.
but I'm also trying for baby number 2. I've been trying for months, so I'm hoping I might be.
Well,
We don't know.
maybe it could be that you're pregnant? No. It just seems like if you want to get pregnant, sweetie, from what I'm sensing, your body still thinks it's pregnant, so it's hard for you to become pregnant if your body already thinks it.
Because hormonal issues did come up that's blocking me falling pregnant. Okay,
Yeah. Can we,
interesting.
again, I'm not a doctor, but can we just fix that while we're here? Okay.
Please.
All right. So take a breath in. Take a breath in. And for those people listening in, the main focus here is escaping or running to fix a problem. So in this case, we're going to help you stop, understand what you're running away from or running to, and then fix it right here. And I stress that it's the mechanism that you're trying to fix the problem that is the problem, rather than what you think is the issue. And for you, Steph, and other women who have hormonal type issues or are trying to get pregnant, whatever that is, whatever the cause is for you. But at some level, again, for you specifically, Stephanie, some level your body didn't reclaim or close off. Your brain just thinks literally that you're still pregnant at some level. Yeah. Just breathe in again. Just give me a second here. And just notice that area, the womb area for you. It's a lot of damage from your mom or your aunt. You know, well, right. Notice how you're feeling. Breathe. There you go. How are you feeling?
Centered.
Centered, calm. Notice you'll have great power because you're not expending your energy running. You're expending your energy like being. And when you do that, you get so many, say, things that you're trying to solve. You'll just get downloads on how to solve them. And they're just like, and you're such a good worker, you're just hard worker. And you just go boom, boom, boom. You'll get them all done. So this next week or two is literally about closing off loose ends for you and just starting fresh. So back to what the magnifier effect, basically, that we're talking about. When somebody falls in love, when somebody gets success, when somebody has a baby, all their bullshit comes out, right? Can we say that? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's give you an example, and you can close your eyes if you want, or you can just keep
Okay.
it. But it's
I'll
all
watch
up to
you.
you. Breathe in again, guys. Just think of when you started to like somebody, say your husband, your partner that you got. You liked them, you dated them, and then there was a moment that you fell in love with them. That moment, basically, you rose to the next level of consciousness, another dimension. So when you went to that next level, what happened is like, oh, congratulations, you're falling in love. But if you want to fall in love, you have to get rid of this, this, and this, and this. But then what most people do, like you had a kid, and basically it's like, hey, you're having a kid, Stephanie, you have to solve this and this and this and this problem. But then most people don't look at it that way. They think of it, it's a curse. It's like, oh God, why is God doing this to me? Why, And then people go, what if they find out about my ex? What if they find out about, what if they don't like my parents? What if they don't like, the way I don't know, snore in bed or whatever it is, that people are afraid of when they go to the next level.
Yeah.
Again, it's not there to destroy you. It's not there for you to justify it or hide it. It's literally there to resolve the pattern that caused the issue that you're having that's coming.
Yes.
And then when
Yes.
you resolve it, I mean, you and your son gets closer.
Yes.
So natural intelligence is literally going, congratulations, but you can't take that contraband to that next level or it'll destroy your relationship.
Yes.
It's simple.
No, I really love that. And the people I clash the most with are the people who I always say who don't do the work. It's like, it's the sweep under the rug. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about vulnerabilities. What will the neighbors think? It's a weakness. And I just would rather, let's just have, like, I would say the people I gel the most with are my school friends. I've known them for 30 years. We just, I love my husband to death, but he really struggles talking emotion. And that's the one area where we clash because I like everything out and open. And when I talk with my school friends, like I'm picturing one female friend in particular, everything's all out on the table. And the way we merge, and connect by talking about our vulnerabilities is the most beautiful, beautiful, pure love. And that's something that, my son doesn't really talk a lot yet, but that's something I'm already encouraging. And at the end of the day, I'll ask him how he felt, what was his favorite part of the day. Even if he can't respond, I just want to make that familiar to him to recognize feelings.
Yeah. And for your husband, if you want me to tell you why,
Yeah,
if you
go.
want, is, when he was younger, his mom just basically said, hey, you can't talk about your feelings.
Well,
He
his
was
whole
never.
family, and he was in footy. Now, the footy culture in Australia is suck it up, you're a pussy if you cry, you don't talk about feelings. And his whole
Exactly.
family are sports people. And his dad, even more so with the talking about feelings. And he just, I've been trying 11 years of together. I've made some headway, but he just struggles. You physically see him tensing. He would rather make a joke. Like Chandler Bing in Friends is his favorite Friends character, and I know why. It's that humor is his escape.
So those are the patterns that we resolve with XI. I see the mom, and it's important, because yeah, the dad's more assertive, so to speak, or disciplined. But then, for him is like he goes to mom for say nourishment or consoling, and mom goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, nope, you can't go there." So the female, which is a problem. It's like, oh, it's like so he's been trained not to open up to
Yes.
women.
Yes, he has. Mm.
So
Yeah.
so you can delete that with XI.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can
that's
literally
really
delete the
fascinating.
program.
Wait till I
Yeah.
tell him when he comes home. Wait for the eye roll that I'm about to. We're got the same goals and values, but we're chalk and cheese in terms of, I am very woo woo and I love this. Listen, I've got so many questions to ask, but I just want to say a lot of people might listen to this or listen to anything that, that you're referencing and think, oh, it's a bit woo woo. I think it's so beautiful what you're doing and putting out in the world. We're in a society where people are pointing out the negative of others so much and dragging them down, and it's very divisive politics and everything. What a beautiful gift to the world to make people want to feel better in their own bodies and souls and mind. I think that is probably the best gift you could bring to the world,
Yeah, totally. And and those people knocking other people down is because they're so insecure themselves. But
without a doubt.
they're so
Without a
like
doubt.
they get triggered. It's like you can't say that.
Yes.
There should be laws against it. It's like, well, we say is like, why don't you take your ownership back, command your life, and then
Yeah,
that stuff wouldn't bother you. So,
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
Stephanie, you're talking about woo woo, but let me ask you, let me ask you
I hate
this.
that term, to be frank. I think it's very in touch with something
Yeah, but
spiritual.
look
Yeah, go
at
on.
it logically. The science that I work with has no exceptions to the rule. So, but look at the paradigms, look at the religions, look at the science, look at the financial systems. There, those structures that people follow that think are so solid. You got to follow the science.
Yeah,
There's so many exceptions to the rule that looks more woo-woo to me. That looks more like pseudoscience because even like medicines and all that stuff is like, well, shit, it didn't work in 100 cases. The placebo effects worked better than
yes,
most. It's like,
yes.
where's the
Whereas
science and
something
why are
like
you relying on
energy,
it?
yeah, whereas energy can be
Exactly.
measured. So something like if a
Measure it and
manifestation of like attracts like, that stuff can be measured, but people people still think it's woo woo.
Yeah, and then the people practicing it are kind of like woo because they don't understand
Yeah,
the deeper logistics for it. So we kind
that's
of get
true.
it from both ways. But
Yeah,
again, I always adhere to the science that's been around for 14 plus billion years. So
yeah,
that's the science that I rely on, not on human
yeah.
science. It works better. It's been around for 14 billion years. Look at humans. They've been around for say a million years at the most. Let's just say the past 500 years, we've destroyed and distorted ourselves, the species, in less than, say, a 500 years program from industrialization. So we've destroyed it. We've come to the end. So just think that's not the science or that's not the logic or religions that you want to like go forward into. It's this is not working out. That's why we are where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's not
need we
weird.
need a different operating system now because it hasn't worked.
That's
Um,
straight
while
logic.
we're on the topic of mothers, what are some accessible insights for mothers seeking balance, well-being, and spiritual growth?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is, and I'll give you an example. We had this, our cat, we had a couple cats, and, she got pregnant and she was the perfect mother. But you have to ask yourself, I'm going, how the hell does she know how to, you know, give birth, clean up the placenta, do whatever it needs to do with it, nurse and everything like that, take care of it, do all the things a perfect mother would do. Where did that programming came from? They didn't go to school for that. So, so in mothers, in human mothers, that's already built in already. But what we've done is we've replaced it by human science, and that's where the problem comes in. So what I help women do is like, hey, wait a second, let's go back to the original core, being that optimal mother. And it's not about being simple or anything, it's being very efficient, high performance. She was just like right on top of things, and she did it so, like, she's given birth like, 1,000 other times. She was just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
super. Most animals are like that. It's not that they practiced. It's just that program that they run that just makes them be perfect. So
Would you
what
say
we
it's
do,
tapping into and trusting their intuition?
it's more than intuition. It's a program
Okay.
that's already encoded in your
Okay.
cellular system. Most women have that cellular system, but it's buried by culture, you know, religions, all the things. You learn from being a mother by your mother. She learned from her grandmother, and so on. And that doesn't work out. It takes you the wrong way, just like everything else in humans. It takes you the wrong way. So
Yeah,
this is
it's
about
subjective.
resetting it
It,
and being optimized.
it's funny you say that because I didn't read any books when I was pregnant. I found the whole thing very overwhelming. I didn't listen to the podcasts. I would listen to manifestation and finance podcasts. Then when he came, it just made sense. Like I was FaceTiming my friends from the hospital and they're like, and I still to this day held a baby the other day and I didn't know how to hold it. Yet when my son arrived, my friends were like, you're such a natural. Like it just made sense with my son. And I tapped in and just did what felt right. And that's why I also look forward to the second pregnancy more because I won't seek any answers. I'll just do what I know worked. And I got this free magazine, this Natural Mother thing, and they talk about how natural it is to sleep with your child, but how like poo-pooed that is in society. And they're like, there is nothing more natural than sleeping next to your child. But people make out like it's such a horrible thing. And I did for so long with my son. And even now he's in his own bed. If he cries, we put him in between us. But I really loved reading that because it removed that guilt and shame. And I'm like, yeah, you should really just do what feels right as a mum. And it could be different for every mum.
Yeah. So the key is that you have to remove all your filters that you were born with, right?
Yeah.
The four ingredients that
Yep.
I talked about earlier. You
Yeah.
remove that, the natural intelligence comes into you and you raise it properly.
Yeah. And I've never known anything that was such a natural instinct other than parenting. Like there's something about looking at your own child where something really takes off. And I'm very intuitive and I listen to myself, but you do waver a little bit and second guess yourself. Once I met my child, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I know exactly what to do. It's fascinating. It really is quite
I was the
powerful.
same. I was the exact same way, Stephanie. I've got six kids. So it was like,
Wow.
yeah, the first time I saw my kid is like my whole life changed. It's like, oh, that's what
So,
father.
right? I even my best friend's husband said he's a couple of years older than us, and he's like, "Oh man, if I knew it was going to be this good, I would have started earlier." I was like, "Yeah, I felt the same way. Honestly, you just don't know until it's your child." Because I'm still the kind of person who will walk into someone's house and pat their dog before I say hi to their child. It only works with my children, not with other people's children. It's chemical or something.
I mean, parenthood is really a great way to recalibrate what you should have learned as a child.
Oh, say that
But
again.
yeah, parenthood is really about a great way to recalibrate or heal what happened to you as a child. And
Oh
when you
wow.
do that,
Yes.
uh, you're not carrying the burdens, you're not giving the burdens onto your child because they pick all that stuff up. They're like sponges.
Yes.
They absorb everything. When you're changing their diaper, they're looking into your eyes, your face, and they're literally reading what I see in you. But they
Yes.
just can't, vocalize it. They can't communicate.
Yes.
But they're just going, oh, you
Well,
know,
they're more in touch with things than we are because they're fresh from the other side.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. They know as like, oh, mom's running these patterns. But obviously they can't verbalize it, so they just
Yes,
absorb it
yes.
and then they become it.
Yeah.
So when you clean all that stuff up, even during pregnancy, you clean all that stuff up and then
Very much during
have a
pregnancy.
solid child.
Yeah.
And the
Solid.
child helps you nurture yourself. Most women
Yes.
in it, they sacrifice and they do all this. They don't. It's like when you're getting connected to your child, it's amazing because they nurture you, you nurture them, and it's just this
Yes.
beautiful flow upwards. But most people go, it's sacrificial. It's like I got to do this, I got to do that. And it's like, well,
Yeah, you get
you're
to
not
do it.
doing it
Yeah, I
right.
remember saying that to my husband when he was a newborn in the late night feeds. I'm like, I said, we just need to reprogram it from I have to do this to I get to do this. And it really made the night so much easier for me once I did that because I pictured, imagine all the women trying to have children. Like they would be so grateful for this lack of sleep right now. So it's true. Can you please talk us through how near death experiences form a practical path to evolve consciousness and health?
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who've had near-death experiences. There's very few that have got enhanced by them compared to the masses. Like Anita Murjani, a lot of people, they get like great talents, great music abilities. They speak another language instantly. They got
That
great
is
art.
fascinating. Or different
Yeah,
accents. Fascinating.
yeah, they have different accents. They
Yeah.
like Anita, she wrote that book. She cured herself of cancer. It's the craziest thing. So it's the science of that. So for me, and for me, basically, it's like I went back, into the higher knowledge, basically,
Yeah.
because you don't have the limits of the body. You go to that higher level, and then you bring that knowledge back. So my gift
Yes.
was literally understanding the science, the real science, on how this reality works.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
so,
Yeah.
so, so
That makes sense.
what I did for my near death, and this is why I've had three. Probably I won't have any more, but because I don't need. But but
Uh,
basically, the first near death allowed me. It's a lot like psychedelics, or altered states. If you think of
I
it
was going
near,
to ask you that actually, because you mentioned Elon Musk. Now, I presume he hasn't had a near death experience. Is that a psychedelic drug? Is that how he's
this
gotten
is
to that state?
psychedelics, which is kind of a half-ass way to get there. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay. Is this like ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca. I don't know what he does, but there are like DMT, which is
He does a
ayahuasca.
lot.
Yeah, he does
Yes.
a
Yeah.
lot. So basically, what they do, he's trying to copy Nikola Tesla. You go into an altered state. You go on the other side. You get rid of the say barriers or limitations of your say identity, physical identity. You go into that realm. You see the possibilities, and then you come back. So so basically, a near death is the most ultimate say altered state that you can get into. Because for me, I completely disconnected my physical body, went onto the other side, explored it, came back. So the first near death really allowed me to understand the potential. The second near death experience accelerated, say, my knowledge. It was literally lifetimes worth of knowledge that I got, say, downloaded and I still have access to. That's why I can read you, by the way.
Yeah.
And we all have these abilities. So the second near death gave me the science that I applied, and then the third near death was literally a mastery level of
I
what I
feel
do.
like they could make a TV show of you. Because I feel like that would make it. It feels like the kind of show my dad and I would have loved watching in the 90s. I feel like that would make for very interesting. Have you written any books?
I've got three books that are coming out,
Okay, I'll
which is
check
really
them
cool.
out because it's, it's
Yeah,
it's a very interesting story. You know what I always say to people? My true belief is that the other side is, where everything's beautiful and perfect and you're more yourself than ever and you pick the blueprints of life to come into these different lives to learn different things to grow your spirit, right? And so I'm always like, I fear the death of those around me, but I have zero fear of my own death because I think the other side sounds beautiful and that this body is just clothing. So, do you
yeah.
think, I think you've explained this, but you're in touch with something because you've been to the pure place and you've brought back a portion of that?
The other side is beautiful, but they're also okay. So all possibilities that can exist out of time, no space, exist on the other side. So there's a lot of darkness, and there's a lot. Again, all possibilities exist of you. Right? There's a reality of you that you could die. There's a reality of you that get cancer. There's a reality that you're
Yeah.
successful and nurturing. So all possibilities exist. So that's the level that you can go to. Okay. And then what happens is you come into physical level. Well, you can only experience one, say, experience at a time. And that's where the problem comes in. So when you go to the other side, you basically go, oh, I can experience that, and a better body, better, happier health. I want to bring that into this reality. So it allows you to understand how you choose the reality that creates form here.
Oh, I love that. Do you know, I haven't asked you the most important question you should ask someone with near-death experiences. What do you remember? What did you see?
Oh, I remember I was very conscious of what I saw. Great beauty, great possibilities. I learned a lot about time and space, how time and space they can edit and create. I learned literally about like quantum physics. I can explain a lot of quantum physics theories that have holes in it. I work with AI. But the biggest thing is that there are no exceptions to the rule at that level. Love is just like raw, pure, unadulterated love, and it's fantastic. So,
And is
so
that how
imagine
you felt there? Like euphoric?
to, totally. It's well. I went to a point where I didn't even have a physical identity. So it's like, because when most people die, they still carry their burdens to that side of memory. I went beyond it, and it was just like bliss state. It was just a universe of its own. And at that level, imagine anything that you felt like great love. Like you look at the sunrise, it's like, or your kid, it's like, whoa, that's beautiful. So multiply that by maybe a couple 100,000 times, a million times.
Wow. Did
Yeah,
it feel like
that's the
time
kind of love.
paused and everything was sort of longer over there?
No. Everything
No.
is everything is basically, it feels like forever, but you never get bored because there's no time. It's just like you're
Oh,
aware,
that's,
but
yeah.
everything is still.
And can I ask, is it lots of colors, lots of white? What
Oh,
did you physically see?
no, there's colors and there's sounds because here we can only function or we can only decipher a very small limited bandwidth. It's like this
Yes.
tiny of light
Yeah.
waves. Over there, there's different light sources, there's different
Oh,
colors,
wow.
there's different sounds. It's really quite beautiful. And
I
then,
mean, I would
there's
say I can't wait to see it, but no, I can wait. I have things to do.
I can actually have you travel there safely and bring you back.
Oh, this reminds me of in the 90s, my brother and I tried to astral project. Oh, you're waking up something very deep within me. I'm loving this. We're going to chat off air for sure. This is super, super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Two last questions. This is something that we've touched on and it is of great interest to me. Can we break generational patterns such as scarcity with money? Because I truly believe that that is, like I touched on earlier, I don't think it's just what you've been taught. I think it's carrying through because a lot of the time the wealth would travel through the family and the scarcity would travel through the family.
True. No, that's absolutely true. Yeah, definitely. And in fact, one of the books I'm writing, and it's a program right now called Command, Grow Rich and Happy. And it's the next evolution of Think and Grow Rich, the famous book by
Oh,
Napoleon.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes beyond those concepts. It's the next evolution. Yes, and you can break that. We do that all the time. This is where people, again, they've made billions or millions of dollars and they go, why do I feel so hollow? Why do I still feel broken? So you change that. And for you and maybe your audience, is like, for you, if you made more money, for example, you would have to run faster away from the things that you have. So why would you do that? What is the
Something.
purpose? So your higher self goes, she can't run any faster. So your equation to success literally is the faster I have to run or escape, the more money I make. But it's like the law of diminishing returns. It's like, and you're getting to the point, it's like, well, shit, how fast can I run?
Yeah.
I can't run any faster. So
Yeah.
then so what we do is we change that equation. It's just straight out physics. It's like, so in this case, the more I can be my best version of myself, the more money I make. So that way you're not running, you're just being. And for you, that's specifically. And when you do that, you can make money without like trying to escape because again, you associate escape with success.
You are really clicking the light bulbs on in my brain. Fascinating. Look, you have given so much insight to myself and to the audience. I can't wait to listen back to this episode, but I will be reaching out to you off air because this is really something that I'm interested in for my own personal journey. But this show is all about filling up your own cup. So I want to ask, what's something you'll be doing in the next week to fill up your own cup?
Gosh, I will be traveling to China.
Oh,
It's interesting. Yeah, we've done this like 3, 4 times. We went to China. The suicide rate is so high. They brought me in to help the suicide rate of young kids there. The first time around, it worked really well. I've been invited there 3, 4 times, and now we're getting bigger and bigger, say, projects from that.
that's funny you say that. I have one episode that was sort of similar with a gentleman who does an AI thing where it's measuring the energy frequency in you through the voice and then creates an audio for you to listen to. And I've been listening to the audio and we've been measuring my progress. But he lives in Taiwan and he said the suicide rate in youth is very high there and he's doing work there. Isn't that fascinating? Is it because it's more like communist cultures where it's like to achieve? So they're feeling pressure?
Yeah, basically, in that culture, it's like, don't worry about anything else. Get good grades.
Yes.
Sacrifice whatever the hell you have to do. Get good grades so you can get a job. And
Can I tell you something that's it's a personal story, but it's not my personal story. When my brother was in high school years ago, there was a boy who I believe he was Chinese, was definitely of Asian descent, and he killed himself, made his bed, left a note for his mum saying, "Dear mum, I hope my bed's neat enough for you." And that has stuck with me because they used the Boys to Men Mariah Carey song. That has stuck with me for so many years. But how tragic, both for himself and for his mum, to live with that guilt, but also that he felt that pressure. And I just, thankfully, I had parents that never put pressure on us for any sort of school or grades. We were very much allowed to be ourselves and explore our creativity. My brother's in music, I've been in music. So that just breaks my heart thinking that there's, in your country, the Winter Olympics, Alyssa Liu, the ice skater, she was such a beautiful story that brought so many women so much joy because she was so sort of controlled, by her dad to be a certain way and overperform. And then she quit, traveled, climbed Mount Everest, wanted to discover herself, comes back on her terms. And when you put the two videos side by side of her skating beforehand and her skating now, the joy, I've got goosebumps picturing it, the joy in her body, in her face. And it was just beautiful proof of look how much more you can achieve when you're living authentically and doing things for you, not by someone else's measure of you.
that's what we do. We literally solve problems for what money, fortune and fame don't solve for. You know, that's really the key, is literally like you just gave a perfect example. It's like, what's the difference? She's skating, but
Yeah.
she's herself skating, not
Yeah.
other
The
person's
intention behind it.
skating.
Yeah.
That's
Beautiful.
basically what we do. So great job.
As I said earlier in the show, thank you for being here, but you're bringing beauty into the world. And I thank you for that. I think the more, people that bring positivity into the world and allow people to really, and this is why I started this podcast, it's for myself, but also to give people permission to really just speak their truth. I love truth speakers. This is why I like Dave Chappelle's comedy. I love truth speakers. What you do is a really beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful for you bringing that into the world and bringing that onto our show today. So thank you so much for your
Thanks.
time and your
Thanks for letting
insights.
me share.
Yeah, beautiful. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I do. Please check out all his links in the show notes that I will put in there. And please do something in the next week to fill up your cup.